Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Great Northwest Point Series. This is Fort Silicon Open. You're watching Fairway Media Disc Golf. I am Kirby Snyder. Alongside me is Ollie DePina. Thank you to our tournament directors, Matt Van Dusen and Danny Priest. This is Fort Silicon Disc Golf Park in South Tacoma. Welcome to our card. This is TenKley, Caleb Joyner, Jeremy Marsh, and Trey Carter. We got a great card ahead of us. Ollie, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Excited to watch some great disc golf.
We got hole 1 right here. It is a downhill 289-foot par 3. Tight little tunnel. I think the best shot is a little putter turnover, maybe a mid turnover. Something that wants to kind of cruise down here left to right and finishes softly against the ground.
I agree. I think also a little bit of a forehand with a putter type disc also works, but yes. Boom!
Yeah, I'm excited for everything too.
Yep. A little bit of drone issue going on there, huh? TenKley. Looks like he had a fire round 1, shooting 11 down. And that is honestly a pretty common result. You kind of want to hug that right side and have something kind of pushing straight. So, Caleb Joyner, ECD teammate of mine and yours. Jeremy Marsh.
I feel like you don't want to go more than a mid-range here just with how downhill this hole is, but finding a good spot on that right side by that tree, I think we'll still have a putt.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Jeremy's Glow Buzz. I'm pretty confident we're going to see that a bunch today. This is Trey Carter. He's sponsored by Gateway Discs, so we'll be seeing a lot of those today. And that's a pretty sick line. A little more ground play would have put him really close, but I think that's a really good shot.
Yep, got a couple putting and a couple having some more work to do. Here we go with Thad here.
Great looking shot. There's lots of lines to get up to the basket, so nice of him to throw a little forehand, get a little good chipper up there. I'm sure that was a zone. I know he likes to throw a lot of discraft.
Oh, walking it in. Kind of that Caleb range. Oh.
Standard Jeremy Marsh putt, honestly. He's so lights out with his putt. I think this is going to be an all-day type of thing. Great hit. Great birdie.
Great hit.
Nice hit for Trey, too. Way to go.
Yep, and to match, that hole coming in at playing at 2.6, just 0.4 below par, so 50% of the field birdieing it. Definitely one of the holes you want to get to start your round for sure. But not a bad par. A lot of ways to save it, like you said, and how we saw going through a bunch of different gaps of these beautiful trees.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's a to get it, it's the good start of a round, but not necessary to still have a fire round out here.
Yes, sir. Hole 2, 284 feet. We're going straight through, just a straight shot into this open. You want to make this initial gap, and it really opens up for a lot of larger putts, but still like want to stay in that mid-range, maybe a flex forehand of a fairway or something.
Yeah, I believe Jeremy Marsh is going with that glow buzz again. The basket does finish almost a little bit to the right of the of where the tee is going, but a straight shot like that, he should be C1, maybe C2, be putting at it no problem.
Yeah, you really just want to make this initial gap so to give yourself a putt, because it is pretty open out there.
Bit of a misfire from Thad there, but it's a good kick to land yourself back into the fairway. He still has that really straight shot, probably another forehand chip or little backhand turnover up to the basket. Caleb, he's usually pretty dialed up with that flex forehand, so I wouldn't be surprised if he cleans that up for round 3.
Here we go with another approach shot for Thad. Feels probably pretty good to have some just routine up and downs. Going to leave himself a little bit on the backside, but still a solid putt and a solid up and down there. Try to get his 3.
Trey looked like he had something a little trickier, but pretty similar line to it. I would guess Caleb's like about 120 feet away or so, maybe.
Yeah, around that for sure.
Maybe a little more. Big skip on that, whatever he looks like he threw something with kind of like a bigger rim than he needed. Long putt. But this is kind of where Caleb is lethal. And he bangs it.
Definitely, and just that routine, just walking it in. You see it so much when you watch him play.
Nice cleanup for Trey.
Yep, great comebacker on that deep side. We'll see Thad line up a similar putt here after Jeremy Marsh does.
Ooh, nice hit.
Yeah, good hit, good birdie to take.
Yeah, it looked like it wanted to dance over the rim a little bit there, but just stuck in enough. Pretty sure Marsh is putting with like a Racer Blend Wizards.
Hmm.
Oh,
Just low for Thad there, but
yeah. You hate to see it though.
27% of the field birdie that hole. We did have a double bogey on the hole, so it just shows like if you don't make that initial gap, they can leave some trouble with that putt.
Yeah, for sure. Hole three, relatively straight shot, 348 feet. There is a Mando that wants to keep you right and out of hole 17's fairway, and the basket's going to be tucked up like behind this log and behind that tree there. A lot of players will go for this like kind of low, basically like a flex shot, something that wants to kind of finish hard left and skip. Looks like that's almost exactly what Marsh is doing. That's a pretty common landing zone. I would say that's probably about, I don't know, C1, maybe deep C1. This is kind of the common miss, but he's getting through that really nicely, and he's going to be right next to Jeremy Marsh. That's cool.
Yeah, common miss where you're just hoping to fight some more stuff off and get into that landing zone going straight.
Yeah, I think Caleb should be short of the Mando still, so he might be all right. And then this is the other play that you see from some of the bigger arms, where you kind of take something more overstable, you go up top, and you kind of let it crash into the backside. So I think he's should be pretty good. He might be a little long, but that looked nice.
Yeah, awesome to see that executed. Caleb with a routine upshot, getting that log, leaving him a putt for sure. Here's that where Thad landed.
You see that collection of discs right there? Ooh, just a little right. And I believe they're just inside the circle. I'm pretty sure that's the C1 tab right behind Caleb there.
Yep, and another good hit around that circle's edge for Caleb.
Nice hit for Jeremy.
Yep, great to go back to back there. Harder hole to birdie. 17% of the field birdieing in this round too.
Yeah, that log is such a collection for discs.
Not a bad spot though. Yeah, leaves you a great putt.
Yeah, good collection. Good pickup for Trey as well. And Thad tabbing out for his par. So we got ourselves a ball game, and 3 holes in, and scores are pretty tightened already.
Hole 4, we got a par 3, 285 feet. A straight shot, you want to start bending to the right. A couple different plays here. You can see some people go over the top. You can see some people just throwing a disc to directly shape this fairway. And awesome green here, protected by a couple different trees. So you'll see some people landing right and having a long putt, and see some people trying to dial up and piercing into the heart there.
Little catch cam action on this one, huh? Way to go, Banksy.
Love a good catch cam.
See, Marsh was going for that high shot, and Trey going for the lower.
Yeah, that low shot that gets you into that opening where you are basically putting, just getting a tester putt, which is awesome. Caleb
Yeah.
going high.
I think the high shot has a higher probability of getting you the par, where that lower shot, I think the gap's really, really tight off the tee. So it's pretty intimidating just to kind of pipe it down there. But when you go high like that, there's so much of a room for miss, I think.
100% agree. But going high leaves you kind of shots like this where you trickle down and you have about a 35, 40 footer looking at the basket.
Yeah. Decent little turnover from Marsh. She's still got some work to do there.
Some meat on the bones.
This is his range though. Next time.
Yeah, not too far off. It's really is his range, and we've seen him make so many putts like that. Caleb similarly in his range. Just that walk him down, Caleb.
I love his putt. It's so awesome. He's so good at it. I would bet that Caleb, without any real stats or anything, I would bet that Caleb's got to be one of the top 5 putters in Washington State.
Yeah, I could see that. And Thad with a great putt as well, getting the birdie on hole 4. Hole 4 taking 40% of birdies for the field in round 2. So definitely
Really?
one you want to get. Yeah, honestly, more than I thought as well. But it definitely
Dang.
not. I think the distance is one you just like. Those high shots do get rewarded with the putt, where this field is making those putts on the day where the wind's not affecting everything too much. We had a beautiful day.
Yeah, we had 3 out of 4 on this card birdie. That's crazy. I would have thought that this would have been a little less than that, just because it is a pretty tough. I think it's a pretty tough get at least. So wow. Hole 5 here is a 565-foot par 4. I would say I don't believe that this hole is really eagleable even for the distance. Basically the play is to throw like a big sweeping hyzer out the gap there, get a little past where the drone is now up to like this gap here, and then to throw either a really straight disc or a little forehand flex shot through and get to the basket up here to the right.
Yeah, hit it right on the head. Big arms can actually get kind of hurt going too long off the drive, so you really got to control a nice hyzering shot for a right hand backhand player. Another catch cam here. Shout out Banksy.
Yeah, placement is everything on this one. You see Trey maybe going a little too aggressive, a little too long and straight there. So
There,
he might actually have a chance to go up the right side. It is a lot trickier and there's a lot more in your way, but if you're kind of forced over there, you can make it work.
yeah, and we see Caleb just dialing in a great fairway shot. That's going to leave him forehand approach or a backhand approach, just looking at the basket, having some trees to navigate.
Thad's got a lot of power. So this is something where he definitely has to dial back a little bit, and that's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it looks like a mid-range, honestly, or like a putter, which is like perfect for his arm speed, where you're going to get to that ideal landing zone that he got to.
Marsh doing a lot of the same thing. That's another really great spot. I
Yeah.
think being in the center is pretty ideal, but I think center left is almost a little better because I think it plays to the forehand a little bit more, a little more of a natural line. And Trey's just getting through everything. Holy crap, that was awesome.
Yeah, he might have a long putt coming at it, or even around circle in that circle 2 range. So that's awesome to see coming down that right side. You don't see that very often. Very tricky line to hit.
Marsh getting some little bit of tree love there. I think he got pretty close to the basket off of that. And we're gonna see that flex forehand out of Caleb here. Probably going to a Firebird.
Yeah.
It's such a stock shot for him. Leaks a little long, still going to be in that Caleb range. So correct shot, maybe just a little long with the shot shape, but definitely a comfortable disc for him.
Yeah, I wonder if he like looking at like if he's gonna watch this back. And Caleb, if you are watching this, if you can comment below. Watching that again, would you go to maybe like a wow, great putt from Jeremy.
Whoa!
That was huge. But Caleb, would you go to more of like a slower speed disc, like a zone or like a tactic type disc, or would you stay with your decision to go with the Firebird there?
Oh, just low right side, leaks out.
This was awesome from Trey. He got through everything down there. Dang.
and low left and spits out the backside, you know. Hopefully you want to see that rewarded. Awesome approach and still taking a par, even though he was definitely kind of biting off too much on that first drive. So
Yeah, I mean that approach shot was incredible. So shame he doesn't get the birdie there for sure.
and that taking a three, getting a clear 3-stroke lead over the other 3 gentlemen on the card. Going into hole 6, we got a 312-foot straight shot. Got a tree to miss right here in the center. Hit the left or right gap and finish very, very straight, missing that like right foliage, bush, and tree right to the right there. And getting yourself a putt, definitely better to run a little more left than right, I feel like. But yeah, very straight.
Yeah, I see a lot of players throwing down that right side gap. I see a handful of players going up top as well, kind of like where Thaddeus is going right there. I like that shot a lot with like a flippy putter or a flippy mid, something that wants to kind of push towards the basket, almost flip towards that bush on the right side.
Yeah, that's just done to perfection, putting it right in circle for him. Marsh
Get it
going down
both.
the right side, so trying to get lucky through those trees and poke and pray. But I think we'll still have a tricky putt around, having to get through that right tree by the green.
Yeah, misfire by Trey for sure.
Luckily, it lands in the middle, and we'll have a pretty routine up and down for par. Caleb throwing on Heiser and letting that disc just ride, hopefully beating these trees and landing in that left side. Very forgiving and going to have that putt right in his range.
That was really overstable. I'm not sure what disc that was, but that was really beefy.
Oh,
Whoa,
very close to
whoa!
running the basket. Trey Carter
Damn, that was awesome.
knocking on the door.
Yeah,
Let's
he's like, I don't
go.
want the tray on this one. I want the two.
Mm.
Nice little jump putt for Marsh.
Yeah, Caleb getting right in his range. Just missing top right, very frustrating for him when that's a routine putt for him. But
Yeah, really uncharacteristic miss.
Trey able to save that 3 through the routine up and down. That
That's
put
one
it
of those
right
threes
there
where,
outside of bullseye.
yeah, that's awesome. Great shot from Thad. Yeah, Trey had one of those holes where you walk away being like, damn, I can't believe I got a three, but I was so close to getting that two. You
Yeah.
know?
100%. You're like, you got to feel good going into the next hole. Like, I almost do that from a pretty out of position spot.
Yeah, making it happen.
Yeah. 40% of the field birding that hole.
Pretty good. Hole 7 here, 304 feet, par 3. There's a mando tree there that's going to kind of keep you left down this fairway here. It is a pretty hard, like right turn. Basically, when you get past that tree to your left, you want to really bank right here, and you'll see the basket over there. Backhand turnover is a really popular option. Forehand hyzer, that's kind of skippy, is also going to be a really popular play. Probably what we're going to see out of Thad here. Very skippy and puts him probably, I don't know, 45, 50 feet or so.
Yeah, I'd say right around that 45, 50 mark for sure. Still a
This is
great shot. Hard to get in that circle and really penetrate that green.
yeah, it's so difficult. This is a buzz out of Jeremy Marsh, and looks like he just kind of put it a little too to the right side. And I think that's a pretty good kick because you should have like a kind of a straight shot at it. Trey high inside forehand.
I do
Oh, that's
like the
really
high.
nice.
Yeah, the high allows you to fight a little more. You don't have to push as far and allow for that skip. Great shot by Trey.
Yeah. Oh, Caleb,
Yeah, that's
you're
the
saving
pushing
that
too
basket.
far. Yeah, trying to get that skip and just push a little too far and hit those trees that are a little too straight off the basket.
Yeah.
This is definitely one of the tougher holes, even for just how a 304-foot hole, only one of the highest double bogey rates on the entire course for the round 2 for this MPO field.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Getting through the gap's really tight, and if you don't make it, I mean, even where Jeremy was, where he had a shot to the basket, it was still pretty obstructed, but he's going to be taking his bogey. It's a hard hole. You don't get through that gap clean. It makes it really, really tough.
Oh, giving it a bid off the cage. for Trey.
Couple of cleanup pars here, except for Jeremy here.
Yeah, second lowest birdied hole for this round 2. 10% birdie rate, only 3 birdies on the day. So it's just a hard get. It really takes like a technical forehand shot shape or a really nice like Anheuser, but really it's a tough shot.
Yeah, shout out Little Mateo, Christopher Welsh, and Jake Morganti for getting the 3 birdies for the day.
There's Caleb tapping the band, just ready to be off this hole. And moving on to hole 8, 355 feet in the woods. Very tricky hole in a way. Very straight at the start. You want to just kind of a very straight shot to just finish like slightly left and let the disc fade out into this natural zone to get you a putt.
Yeah, I think the gap off the tee is really tough because you want to be pushing that right side, but there's a large tree right in front of you off the tee that will kind of make the hole so difficult. So what ends up happening is you have players that will kind of miss towards those 2 trees on the left, and this looks so good out of Thaddeus.
Yeah, should just get him a putt in that like either short left or like right in the opening. Hopefully it doesn't go too long, but yeah, perfectly done there.
And those are the 2 trees that a lot of players end up hitting. He split them really nicely, so he should have it up and down from there. Just get stable. I think that Caleb. Oh, I was gonna say you should be pretty happy, but they all heard a tree at the end there.
Oh yeah.
I think inside from Marsh, but if that gets sneaky, it might be nice.
Not bad to be left. It definitely opens up once you get past those 2 trees. We see even Caleb hit that tree and still have a long look for this too.
I think that's a pitch that he's throwing right there.
Just getting up and down and getting in the circle.
Chippy forehand out of Trey. Marsh got way down here. That's awesome.
Yeah, able to give it a bid and just gonna able to collect an easy 3 and get off this hole. Get some more scoreable guys.
Looks like Thad's putting with a link. Pretty sure Caleb's putting with a P2X.
Yeah, very stiff putters he's using.
Nice little cleanup.
Yeah, definitely one you like to see people cleaning up their par. 17% of the field birdie, only 5 of the 30. So good to get out of there with just a par. Not too many stroke loss.
Yeah, hole 9 here. Uphill, 247-foot hole. It feels like a hole that you have to get for MPO here. It is just like a an overstable disc that you're gonna throw flat to hyzer up at the tree on the right and just let it fade into the hillside and into the basket.
Very gettable birdie, and a lot of these guys I feel like can ace run this with a pretty clean backstop. So you're just getting up that hill. So you see, yeah, definitely one you want to get.
I'm pretty sure Caleb actually aced this a few years ago with a Firebird. So see if we can make magic happen again. Oh, you hear him do it again.
Oh my!
That was close.
That would have been a KO call of the day.
Dude, he's got the touch for this hole, man.
Get through there.
Marsh putting a little wide. Might still have a putt from up there. I think he went behind that tree.
And
I think this is the drone for the next hole.
yeah, we're gonna see hole 9 here. Definitely a tough one.
All right, well, hole 9, 347-foot par 3, or 247-foot par 3. There's OB on the left and on the right. You want to throw just a really straight shot that might kind of turn a little bit. Oh, all right, back to the hole. Nice birdie for Trey.
Yeah, hole 8 or hole 9 we definitely want to see nothing more than a par here. So everyone, even Jeremy outside hitting that putt in his range, you're not going to see really much more than a par here for this MPO field. And 50% of the field parred, 50% of the field birdied here.
Nice star frame out of our card.
That's why we didn't. That's why we skipped ahead and showed 9.
That's what it was. Okay, I was gonna say I thought the next hole 10, I thought was longer than 247. Yeah, 332 makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Okay, hole 10. We got a 332 foot par 3, tricky OB right, tricky OB left. You want to be shooting a shot that's very straight and ending slightly to the right and just getting you a putt. Better to be short and center than left or right because of that OB.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's kind of that's kind of a common miss there, is to kind of burn it over a little bit, trying to keep it low. Trey's going really aggressive with the forehand here. Maybe
I
a
like the
little too
forehand
bad.
play. I really do like the forehand play. I think it's the best way to get the 2. I think it is kind of, if you do see Caleb here, you put a little more on it with a stable disc, no matter what, you're probably going to end safe, which is awesome. Almost rolls to that right OB, but ends
That
up in
was
the middle of the fairway and still kind of, I think he's going to be like looking at the basket. Once you get down there, it's really not too hard to chop this up into 3.
that was so scary. Jeremy does what I do, which is just throw a putter, a mid, just straight down the fairway. Be okay with your par, and if you end up getting like a C2 look, take it.
Oh my. And here's Caleb, yeah, looking at the basket. So if he's looking at the basket, I do feel like there's a chance of it going in. So gives it a bit and he'd get his 3.
Sad. Going for a nice little par save, but a little high. And oh yeah, he's running that. I wasn't sure if he was running or not, but that was full send.
Full send, and it kind of is nice because that OB on the backside is pretty far, so you still get a putt back at it and should be able to get his 3 easy. Trey just coming up short on his 2.
Good bogey save.
Honestly, huge bogey save. Just having a lead and wanting to keep that, taking a double bogey definitely just opens that up to competition. So good save on Thad.
Yeah, I mean he's halfway through this event. It's a 3-round event. You're on 9. You're on hole 9, or you just finished hole 9 of round 2 here. You're halfway through. You have the lead. At this point, you're thinking we just got to maintain. We got to keep it going. Just keep it up, basically, right? Just keep the gas on.
All
Keep your foot.
gas, no brakes.
Yeah, I mean. Hole 11, 290 feet. I love this hole. This is such a cool hole to play. Downhill the whole way. Really, you don't really have to throw anything very hard. You kind of just have to spin it and then aim at get the gap there.
Yep.
And the basket's going to be just kind of tucked away on this little like stairwell. Has a great little backstop. But if you hit any of these trees and you ricochet left or right, it could be really, really dangerous really quick.
Yeah, I feel like the better miss than landing right is, or kicking right, is getting in that left on the hillside and maybe getting some play down. We see Trey just hit a tree and land down in the middle right side. Should be able to get up and down though and get there.
Nope. Get lucky though. Yeah, that's fine.
Caleb asking for it to get lucky. I mean, it didn't hit anything. It should be putting.
Yeah, that's that left side where, if you hit that hillside, you could get a really weird downhill look at it. And Jeremy Marsh with a really straight shot hitting just a left tree and going to be kind of routine up and down for his 3.
Thaddeus going with a standstill with a little bit of an early release. I do think that tree there on the left is probably like the easiest tree to hit on this hole. You do want to throw a hyzer that kind of tucks just past it. So
It kind of looked like he jump putt from there. Like, very interesting release from there. Lift him a little short. Gonna have a long putt looking at the basket.
whoa, that was awesome.
That was really cool.
Thaddeus with a really long look at this.
Oh,
Tough.
Yeah, definitely a hole you want to get out clean on, hole 11. 30% of the field got the birdie, 60% got the par. Um, you definitely just want to. One you want to get, and it can be a difference in scores for. Not, I don't think it's one everyone gets on your card, you know. Caleb.
Nice, nice birdie for Caleb.
Yes, sir. That
Yeah, he
downhill
got that.
look.
Yeah, he got that good trickle like on that left side.
Yep.
He's just struggling to get down though.
That's the danger. You know, you go left side, like I said, and you allow yourself to get a putt and to look at it for two, but you might be falling and tumbling on the way down. But great putt, Caleb.
That's so funny. That guy's like a giant toddler, man. It's so funny.
Hole 12, par 3. Very sweet hole here at
That's a
the
lie. No, it's
Northwest
not.
course. Uh, Kind of a hard hole to get to the green at, where you're throwing like a big Anheuser shot or a forehand down at the bottom of the hill, or a big Anheuser shot above and trying to penetrate to get there. But very hard three, and we'll see what our competitors do here.
All right, nobody likes this hole. All right, I'm just gonna put that out there. Um, I don't know. It's uphill. There's OB on the right side there. Caleb's gonna be flirting with it actually down there.
That OB line is so hard to judge. I think
Was there any birdies here for the day?
there was there
Really?
was
Who did it?
one birdie.
Shout him out, dude. Shout him
Where
out.
is he at? Who birdied this? We'll see Jeremy Marsh lining up the backhand line. Going low, just looks like it's going to be a placement shot in the middle of the hill here. Pushing a little long, actually, so going to have a trickier up and down trying to get to the basket.
Thaddeus going with the big backhand turnover. I like this shot. I think this is going to be the shot that if somebody's going to birdie it, they're going to do it this way. Oh shit! Did he get way up there? That's awesome.
Oh. Well, maybe that's why I didn't say it, but I think he might be putting for birdie, which is like just a rare sight you see. You know, you don't see too many options there.
That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
I don't know about that.
You see these guys just fighting to get up this hill. Even if you get up there, if you go just like a touch long, you're looking like putting back at that hillside going down. This hole can really get away from you. You can have something like that where it just goes a little low, but lands on edge and then just rolls down that hill. This hole can be really, really gnarly.
Brutal. And Thaddeus got all the way up the hill and he's putting for birdie.
That's huge.
Cashes the birdie. That is our solo birdie in round two. Thaddeus, huge play.
That's
Definitely
awesome.
taking a stroke on the entire field. Plus, we had 3 double bogeys, 12 bogeys, and that's a tough hole, dude.
That's crazy. That's really, really impressive. He should be super proud of himself. To get that far up the hill and like just
There
to
he is
be,
texting, "Hey, I just birdied hole 12."
yeah. Hey, honey, birdie hole 12. Having a good day. Love you too. See you later. Hole 13 here, 218 feet. One of the shortest holes on the course. There is a Mando there keeping players left because we used to throw the big hyzer out on the right side. Makes it a super, super tight hole. Very it's like a doorway the entire way basically. And then you get up to this little green here. The green's pretty quick, so if you have a disc that's spinning and landing on there, you will get good ground play. I think this forehand's less common than just like the backhand turnover is.
I think it's a harder gap to pure, but it is pretty. If you hit that gap, you're right at the basket and just misses the line a little left there because it is just such a hard gap to hit. Well, the backhand, allows you to collect a little long, a little short, and still leave you a putt where we're going to see a putt there for birdie.
Yeah, that was a really good shot from Trey. Marsh just missing a little left.
Flexing and trying to get to that right of the tree, and I think if that did it, you're perfectly collected there. Caleb going with the forehand and a little short, it looks like, but collecting nice. Hopefully, leaving him a putt in that Caleb range.
Marsh with a big jump putt. That's kind of the nice thing about just making it through the gap is you should make yourself you should get far enough up where it's 218 feet. You should be able to just jump putt up to the basket. once you get through there.
Caleb with a long bid. A little short. Going to collect his 3 easily. Trey lining up his 2, just going long in the basket. Bang.
Probably about circle's edge. Good putt.
One of 6 birdies of the day for
Really?
Trey Carter. Yeah, kind of surprising.
Oh, for Trey. I thought you meant for the hole. I was like, oh my goodness, what?
No, for the hole.
Oh, there's 6 birdies on the hole? Wow, I thought there would be more than that.
Yeah, 6 of 30, and then a 73% par rate. So majority of the field just par in that hole and getting out of there. Only 2 bogeys, no doubles. Hole 14, 318 feet, kind of similar. Straight shot that you want to have ending right. Has a little bit of a downhill, so you got to control the disc a lot more on the finishing of the flight. And awesome green that opens up, where if you get out of that initial gap, that's about 200-ish feet, you're going to be leaving yourself like a long bid.
Yeah, this is kind of like hole 10, but a lot softer, right? Because there's not as much OB, especially on the right side. There's an OB line like far, far on the left to kind of separate you from, I think, hole 15 over there. But yeah, forehand, backhand, I think they kind of plays the both sides. I think Thaddeus wanted that to be a bit flippier. And Marsh going back to one of his standard buzzes.
Yeah, but not the bad mistake to make. I think the only bad mistake is finding yourself a little bit too far right, too far left. Marsh might be finding himself a little far right. I think a little bit of a fortunate kick to find himself on the fringe of that maybe, but we'll see.
Yeah, if he made it far enough down there, he might have a gap. This is just way too high from Caleb.
Caleb probably going to be finding a similar gap, hopefully getting to the end of that, and that right side opens up, kind of leading towards the basket. Here's Thad with his upshot.
I really like the angle out of Caleb's hand. I think the height just way too high. If he gets that down, 5-10 feet, I think that could be really, really sweet.
And we're just seeing Thad get a great up and down. It's important to not have that putt or that up and down go too long when you have that lead. He has a stress-free par here.
Looks like everybody's just pretty much going to be doing the same type of business, making it up and down.
Yeah, nothing you really want to flirt with. If you do start running this, you can find yourself 30, 40 long in a bush very easily here. You can see the trees kind of going back to earlier holes there. So
I will say, even some of these approach shots here, they can get kind of weird because you see this on the hillside. So if you don't come in flat and you might be like hyzer out too much and kind of land on the disc's edge, there's a good chance for a rollaway, and you really don't need that here.
100%. And we had 17% of the field getting the birdie. So honestly, kind of weird. Only one less birdie than the last hole, but a lot harder of a hole it feels like. So interesting to see.
Yep. Hole 15 here. I would say it's a pretty soft par 4. It's just a long drive here off the tee. The gap's tight but pretty generous. If you get anywhere out here past the Scotch brush, you just have this little gap to get up to the basket here. You'll see a lot of the big arms skip up past those trees and give themselves eagle looks. Um, I'm betting a lot of the guys here are going to be aiming for that. Trey just getting a little high, a little right. I don't think there's any OB over there, so there's really nothing really to worry about.
Yeah, only that OB left that comes into play for like an early kick or something, or a really shank shot.
Beautiful, beautiful line out of Thaddeus.
So good.
Yeah, I think he got up to that tree line up there. He should be, he might be like putting, long, long jump putt for it. I think Marsh is trying to get a little more turn on that, but he should be just fine over there.
Yeah, if you go long enough, that OB left doesn't come into play because it shoots out to the left. So definitely did not find that, and is going to be looking at a routine up and down for birdie.
You don't see a lot of people throwing forehands off the tee here.
Not at all. Trey, big forehand, swooping in. Gonna leave him a long putt left, a little short of the basket. Caleb coming in with the forehand as well. Forehand. Looking at the basket, actually a great spot for that forehand,
Yeah.
Opens it up for that second shot easily. Checking
Yeah,
up for,
that feels really deliberate from him.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Thad's got a long look at it.
That's for two, too. It's just
Yeah.
crazy. Jeremy left it a little short. You're going to have a putt for his bird. And here's Trey for his bird here. Oh,
Yeah.
Jeremy for 3. Bang. Love to see it. Huge.
This hole did play as the easiest hole of the day. I'm stealing your stats. It played .53 under par for the day.
No double bogeys.
No eagles. And there was 2 people that kept stats, and they both hit the fairway. So nice job.
Good job, fairway hitters. See Trey cleaning up his par. And Thad gonna tap in his birdie. Great drive again. And when you can drive that far, it makes this hole a pretty routine 3.
Yeah. Stress-free birdie. You love them.
Love him. Hole 16, one of my favorite holes on this course. Downhill, got some options, can kind of punch something straight and pick a gap straight. That's a very short little poke and pray. Or a left side turnover shot straight. You got a forehand flex. Really a lot of different recipes to get to the birdie here. Definitely a far shot being 406. Excited to see what these guys do. There's a beautiful green here, protected by some trees. Plenty of space down there.
I think that left side's probably a little more common of a play. This is a tough hole, man. It's hard to get down there. I'm pretty sure Marsh, this is a cicada that he's throwing.
Punching that left side, trying to get the disc to turn and hold, and it is.
He's so good at this hole. He does that like all the time, and it's so crazy. He doesn't. I don't even think he fully understands it. He's like, I don't know. It just misses everything.
Gets him down for a birdie putt. Easy to hit some early trees there from Caleb, and hopefully going to have an up and down look. Once you get down this hill, it definitely opens up a lot of different lines to get to the basket, but still a lot of work to do, meat on the bones.
That was a nice shot from Trey, just going straight down the middle there.
Good ground play to get up to, looks like circle area for Caleb. Should be right in his range for a putt. That routine up and down forehand, putting it under the basket.
Wow, what a birdie. That's awesome.
Yeah, Trey with a great birdie, dude. That's
Yeah,
awesome to see.
I feel like I never see anybody birdie it taking that like middle line like that. That's incredible.
Definitely a lot more poke and pray, but definitely a way to get to the basket. We saw it. Now we see 2 ways to get to the basket to get birdies, where Jeremy just goes a little long and hits that comeback putt. That's totally in his range and circle. So awesome to see. A very hard hole. Only 5 birdies in this round, too. Seeing 2 of them on this card is quite awesome. That's why they play on the lead card, and they're doing so well in this tournament, these guys.
Yeah, that's a huge birdie to get. Another huge birdie to get here is hole 17. It is a long par 3, 465 feet. I mean, it is super wide open. The guys with the big arms are definitely trying to feast on this one. And if you don't have a big arm, you're just trying to make it up and down as easy and as clean as possible. All the danger on this hole really takes place in the last, I don't know, 80 to 100 feet. It's where you kind of get into these trees. And really the only thing you want to avoid is just getting like a bad bounce off of one of them. There's a couple of bushes around. The green is relatively fast, so if you have something coming in and skipping, you will get decent ground play. Excited to see what some of these guys do here. I know Marsh doesn't have the biggest arm, so he's got kind of this unconventional roller play. He really likes swinging it really far to the right and then letting it cut over, and it looks like this one never got a chance to cut. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That was cool. Trey getting the chance to open up. Great little flip. Nice line. There's a deer in the middle of
Bambi!
the fairway.
Bambi!
What are you doing, bud? Come on, man. We're trying to play disc golf here. Get out of here.
And Thaddeus goes straight into the deer.
Thaddeus is thinking he's gonna make some venison, bro. Nah, he's gonna go. He's gonna clear that deer. There ain't no chance.
What you see on the beautiful Northwest course, you're going to see nature, beautiful trees, and some beautiful deer. That just leaving it a little turned over. Some of the big arms licking their chops can have that effect. And Caleb throwing down a roller. Oop.
Yeah,
right
that
into the
was.
bush.
I mean, that was not good. Yeah, I think he was just trying to get too much on it, and it just fell out of his hand way too early. So he's gonna be. I mean, he's gonna be fighting up and down. Looks like he's okay with just taking his bogey on this one.
Yeah, with the distance, I think the most important thing is, like you said, that 80 feet at the end of the shot. So if you throw the disc 400 feet, you throw the disc 380, you're going to leave yourself a lot manageable up and down.
Bless you. Yeah, Thaddeus and Marsh are both so far right that they kind of have to like bend around this bush here or that tree.
Let's go in.
Whoa, are you
In,
serious?
let's go.
And
Holy
we got
shit.
the 2. Let's go.
Dude, that was awesome. Way to go, Marsh.
Way to
Incredible.
go. Out of position and still carding the 2.
Dude, that was incredible. Wow. Marshman, amazing. A marshing? Nah, there's nothing there. I take that back.
Marshman, you don't need to be home, said Marshman.
Nice approach shot from Trey. That was incredible. Oh my
Grab
god.
it out of the basket. Let's go. 20% of the field catching the birdie, Jeremy Marsh being one of the 6. As
Really?
many people birdied that hole. Birdied, I guess one more birdied 16 than 17. But it's just kind of crazy. That's two
Yeah.
interesting stretches.
That's a
Great
lot.
gets by Jeremy, though. Back-to-back birdies on 16 and 17. You're catching that leader there.
Yeah, huge finish. Unfortunate double bogey from Caleb. I mean, that's definitely the type of error it's a unforced error, you know.
Yeah, and we got finishing hole 18, par 3, 356 feet. Gorgeous. You got a fairway you could drive a bus through going left or right. You got forehand options, turnover options, a little flex options. So many. Pick your poison and get down there to the green. Beautiful green, kind of stays in the theme of the Northwest where you just got a nice open green if you get hit your initial gaps.
Yeah, definitely one of the tougher holes. I think the distance and the shape of it and the gap off the tee definitely just all add to how difficult it is.
Get the fist bumps.
Been a
Made it
great
through.
card. A lot
Great
of
card.
highlights.
Great round.
Marsh here is looking to get a little sneaky with the backhand. I think once you get through that gap, you see how it kind of splits into two. I think Marsh is going for that right side, where I think a lot of other players are going for the left, and then letting it just continue to kind of pan.
Yeah, we see just going long there. Nothing wrong being long and left. It's just going to leave you a long putt, easy 3. Not getting the long look at the 2, but definitely a harder get there. And we see Thad lining up the forehand.
That was a pretty. I mean, I think that was a solid throw. I'm kind of surprised Caleb's not going to the forehand here. He's been relying on it so much today, but he hits that right
Big
side really
flex.
well.
Over stable disc, too. He put that on a lot of ante going through that gap.
Good skip. That was awesome.
Leave him a birdie putt. Good get back after taking a double bogey there. So love to see that from Caleb.
Marsh going a little long with his approach. Thaddeus looks like he's got a jump putt with a tree in his way. Might just try to drop this one down on the right side. Yeah, that was the plan.
Get out of there, take your lead into the third round, and enjoy that. Ooh, giving it a
Good
run.
run. I like where Trey landed. I think if you're gonna miss this shot or not throw like a perfect tee shot, I think that's a really good spot to aim for.
Caleb going to the right of the basket through that right gap and ending left and hits the
Bang.
putt. Bang!
Bang. He don't care. Good
Four,
finish, Caleb.
four birdies on the day. Caleb being one of them. You love to see it. Great way to finish, Caleb.
That's huge. Yeah, this is I would say this seems like one of the more difficult holes on the course. Um kind of played in the middle. All right.
Yeah, not too hard, not too easy. Trey to clean up his par. Again, just that's the miss to make. Go left and give it a bid and clean it up easy. And Thad, our tournament leader going into round 3, tapping out his par, I believe. Let me see.
Great round from everybody. Thank you from Justin Banks. Thank you to Justin Banks from us here at the KO Disc Golf Show. Looks like
Oh,
Lil
Lil
Mateo has a
Mateo!
1-stroke lead over Thaddeus.
11 down. Let's go, buddy.
Huge
Have a day.
round. Yeah, excited for round 3. Ollie, I'll see you there, man.
I'll see you. Aim high, shoot low. We'll see you round 3. Peace!